We moved here from Arkansas. What on earth is this fort at the top of the middle of the desert? What are these two guys? We moved here from Arkansas. What on earth? I suppose they really failed.
Not eating chicken with your hand. Under M.A.S.H, the bird phelps, is that some of Paul's family? It's on second page.
That's what my mom does on hers. So I'm sure she keeps it so it's all sandy.
Is your wife coming, Rick?
No, she's not.
Okay. And so you have a Remax in Greenwood?
She works.
Oh, I thought you had a Remax franchise.
Well, we had one.
Oh, okay.
Shelby County.
Oh, okay.
Shelby County.
Okay.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Are they on at that office, is it pay to play and 95% or pay to play and 100%?
We have to pay 6%.
Yeah. Okay, 94. Much or?
I was just interested in what happened to it.
Really, we make it come down to remix that.
Oh,
We get a
yeah.
lot of it.
Yeah, right.
So it weighs out.
Well, when I had an exit franchise, I was blanking out on his name, but he was the #2 manager in the world at Remax.
Was it?
Yeah, and he loved Remax. But, he kicked it a little bit where you got to override off anyone you recruited. And that was kind of the main difference. Kind of. And wouldn't pay to play.
This is live streaming, so it won't
One
show
thing
up
I
there.
started with, we were in a very rural area.
I'm not plugged in.
We had to pay pretty handsomely to go to their training, and their training was phenomenal. But most of my agents didn't have the money. I'd
I know
have
what
to
you're
say
trying to, what you wanted to do with it.
I know about it.
Yeah.
We've been there.
I mean, if I'm trying to think of any other way to do it, yeah. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't even know what this is.
Sometimes more if there's a supper.
Well, you're way beyond me. In building it up, I had up to 17 agents, and I made every mistake you can imagine. What I learned in an interview, they'll sit there and what they tell you with many, it means nothing. Well, do you like training? Oh, yeah. And it's the last time you'd ever see it. And anyway, I got it down. Of course, we were hit by the recession. They're real hard in Arkansas. But anyway, I got it down to 8 or 9 people, and it ran just great. But then we were out of money. Well, for me. And then my mistake was I had a business model before that. It was my own deal. We all worked out of our house. There were 4 or 5 of us. They bought their own signs. They did everything. I paid them 80%. One guy was a broker. I paid him 90%. And it was profitable. And I let my agents talk me into opening an office. And oh God. I can't blame Exit at all. I mean, they're a good organization. Honey, the founder of Exit, what was his name? Oh, they were Canadian though. They're part of the Canadian Remax.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, very, very, yeah. Well, in fact, he was Toronto area. Yeah. Phenomenal. And I mean, well, in fact, all his uppers You know, they knew Dave Liniger real well before he jumped back in for a second.
Yeah, we had to go to Denver for training and all that stuff.
Oh, really? Yeah.
For weeks. And we were in business. I had my franchise was pretty excited. Yeah, spent a whole week there.
Right. Well, I tried to go with Remax, but for our little town, well, they won 25 grand.
Yeah. I think we'll be 20. I don't know what year we got it. We got
Oh, okay. Well, this was '04, but they went by members in the MLS, but we were a resort area. And so you've got realtors on every corner. I mean, you know, we have Bull Shoals Lake, Lake Norfolk, a lot of people's second homes, that sort of thing. And so you'll have 2 or 3 times the realtors. And so that we were the same fee as the town over that had probably twice to 3 times the real estate volume. But anyways, I didn't. My guy, the rep I talked to though, was out of Kansas City. I don't recall his name. Anyway, Exit was good. I mean, I literally, if I had to do over, I would work out of our home. You're independent. I thought on commission, everybody worked their tail off. And I don't know, there's something about mountain home I'd never seen it. Like, people really thought they worked in an office. And what does an office have to do with, you know, getting business?
I know. I mean, my wife is just going to bring me set aside. Next week. You don't have to go up there except to pay checks.
Well, right. And where they thought they should be in 8 to 9 every morning and sit in front of their computers. Steve Morris. You may not know, but anyway, he Toronto area. He definitely was with them in the 90s. I don't know just what year. I mean, he's with them for a number of years. What's it? Best friend, you say, right if you get work. Oh, okay. Before that, are you familiar with Fairfield Communities? That's why I started with in '84, and then Land Properties, a bunch of us went there, and that's where I was really blessed. I love selling acreage back then. And, but anyway, there, if we ever had to deal in real estate or whatever, we actually would seek out a Remax agent. Well, you know, they had, you know, usually far more experience. You know, knew their area.
That's just the setup, because if you pay your fees, you're planning on working. Instead of
Right. Right. Well, that's back in the 90s, and there, you know, usually it was guys that were working hard. So either top producer or good producers, you know, working hard.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, there's some just want to.
But if you'd imagine, you know, like, so if I had to call a town for a client or whatever, sometimes just a favor. But, you know, I was not going to call my Century 21 or something like that. You know, I've been that route. You never know what you're going to get.
Yes.
Right. And so it's a little better chance of, at least back then. I mean, I think it's different now, isn't it?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
They have fire truck rides.
Oh, yeah?
South Carolina. Not too long ago. My wife was in there.
Oh, good.
We ended up
Oh, good. We're at in South Carolina. We don't know it. We plan on checking it out here in a few years.
Well, I mean, I drove
Okay.
Hey. Hey, Rick.
You can see Rick.
Yeah. Yes, he wants Rick.
If they do, they can ask for
So you're having two desserts.
No, you want donuts. That's what you.
That's one thing. Seeing these, I wish I'd asked my dad more. My dad was a ball turret gunner, and they flew over Italy. But he never talked about it. I don't think I mean, he's proud, but you know, I was young. I didn't know to ask, and I just kicked myself. Not asking. Well, according to my mom, every plane in the squadron was hit, including his. The flak was just horrendous. And according to her, everyone on the plane got wounded except him. But, you know, I don't know. That could have been like scary. No, I don't know. Never. Dad kind of bring things home a little more. They were divorced before I can remember. So I get, you know, different. And then third bombardier. What's the airport? Somewhere north up here, but it'd be east of here. A little airport. It's a little airstrip. Well, it's on the north side of an east-west street. Okay, I know. It's pretty close. Do you know where the Journey buffet is? That's a phenomenal buffet.
Little airport I know.
Huh?
Little airport I know is off Allisonville Road.
Is it painful?
Well, it may be Allisonville. When I went, I was lost anyway. What?
Fisher's Airport.
Well,
You know what I'm talking about? It's a little airport. Golf course used to be around there. Is it still there?
well,
That I've heard of.
it might be, but
Not real
they.
big. It's been up there for a while.
Okay, yeah. Well, this was old and hardly anything there. Just a strip and. Yeah. Okay. And what was in World War II? B-17s? B-19s? No, I've forgotten. But anyway, they flew one in.
They did have B-17.
Okay, well, it's B-17. Well, anyway, I went up there to see it, and you know, I've heard stories from other people, like when you're in the ball turret on the belly, and they say when you're in it, you can't get out and all that. Well, that's not true. There's a manual thing, but you have to line up to get out, but it is small. And to be in there with the parachute, and I did hear that a lot of guys wouldn't have them, and I just wish I'd asked my dad that. All I knew from him was, he said that you trained until you could get out of there, within like 5 point something seconds, and he said, I guarantee you I had it down to 3 point something. That's all I know. But
Right at Air Force Base has
ooh,
you need to go up and look at where the turret is. It's
wow.
small.
Yeah.
The bottom of it. And we were looking at it and saying, no way. You had to be scared.
Good God. We weren't supposed to even touch that. We got to go inside, but anyway, I did anyway. I went outside and opened the door. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying, I wish I'd asked him. You know, it was so. Oh, darn it. Oh. When it opened in a landing craft, you know?
I don't know what it is. I think it's just a regular ship, about 80 or 90 guys.
No, that's a.
He's Army.
Okay, well that sounds like a landing craft. The big M boats. I've been in one once, and they can hold up to 100 guys.
I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
He got killed in the night because they landed with 6.
Oh.
Of course, he had that big wave
Yeah.
stuff. That
Yeah.
you know, I was so I don't really know a whole lot. I did searching records and everything. Found out there was like 8 or 9 guys. If I'd known sooner, I would have tried to look at that.
God. There's two, what you see, there's 2 sizes, and there's a smaller one, and then I've been in that one once, what you're describing, and they can hold, it's either 80 or 100 guys.
Yeah, I probably.
And it's huge. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
See, that's probably what he was on.
Yeah, the Navy, like, boats like that, we still have. Oh yeah. In fact, and that might be a small ship. If it's 60 feet or less, we call it a boat.
When he got hit, I'm sure they had full packs on or something like that. You know, I mean, swimming in. Trying to make it on lanes here.
You know, who's that? Not Moody, but on Moody Radio, that pastor that talks a lot, kind of and he's an older guy. Oh, if I said it, you'd know it. Huh? No. But he was in World War II. I mean, he may be deceased now. In fact, I think he is. But anyway, he was a Marine landing on the beach, and he said, you know, when they dropped the front, they're, I won't say drill sergeant, it wouldn't have been, but he said he had the most colorful language you can imagine getting them out of there. God. But anyway, I guess that's true. When they drop the ramp, whoa. And the bullets that fly in, and then in some, I don't know why they would stop to you know, where the guys would go underwater.
I'm doing good.
That happened.
I know. We got on 465 where we were
heavy
getting on
guns would have been aimed
465.
inside the boat.
There was an accident
that's right.
there. It closed. Yeah.
Yeah, we went right by it.
Yeah, oh God.
Yeah, well, it was pretty bad because once I woke up, because I work overnight and go home, I get home at 9
Still, as I understand, you know, if you see in the movies, those metal things sticking up, well, the Germans, they put those in to keep the landing craft from coming in there. And, you know, and unloading jeeps and stuff like that. Well, anyway, so our guys, that's about all they had for protection. Those things. Until they got all the way up to cover. That was your uncle.
Steelhead and salmon fish.
Oh, wow.
That's why we have it in the belt.
And you were Air Force, right?
Huh?
That's the game plan.
Then we ran into Lois, so we had to stop and talk to her.
I do.
Okay, you were talking about, yeah.
Salmon.
Oh, okay.
They can get big.
No, I went in their mess hall in
Right now,
Elmendorf,
they're running hard.
Alaska.
Like Michigan. Really? Season.
That food was so good. And
It's
you
only
had
3
your
times a year they
choice.
run hard. It's summer, early
Oh,
summer,
yeah.
fall,
You know, on the ship, really, you went by, and on days,
steelhead.
and there's days they would do salt
We're going to
food.
go up there. She's going to go with us.
Oh my gosh.
Drop us
And it
off.
would smell throughout.
We're just going to hit
And I eat chitlins now, but, or not chitlins, greens. I can, but, oh,
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Rick, his name
We're going to be right on my side.
hello. And you are? Oh. So, do they behave in church? That's right. So it stays in your circle.
Is she running for a political office or something?
Yeah.
Pardon? Well, actually, I worked in Indianapolis and all surrounding counties. That's where I live.
But I'm happy that that went well.
Oh, okay. Indianapolis and all surrounding counties. Oh, we've heard of them. I'm being facetious.
Because that's where they be.
You're ever there. That is Lenny's is the best kept secret in Shelbyville.
Well, they told us what table to get.
Because I looked at them and they're 19
It
degrees
must be because the
decreasing
old
this way.
Oh, okay.
What table do you have? Four's up at the top row.
Okay, so it's
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4.
Okay.
Probably 4 right there.
Have you had lunch there? Oh,
Yeah, right here.
Oh, it's on that. Okay.
Bill uses only the best ingredients. For lunch, like I'll have chicken salad, tuna salad, ham salad. Anyway, he uses only the best ingredients. He's so particular. I mean, it's just delicious.
I think they knew us and the reason they put us over here.
And you get 12 of little cookies with the meals.
Yeah,
Wedding cookies or something. Add little Have you, what type of medical field? Like when they,
Downtown at Hilton. Yeah, that would be the other one.
Oh, yeah. There you
Oh, you want okay.
A couple of mornings, 10 times, really good at whatever the fast food been, I get them to do. Bring it up to factory.
did you want to see what the auction items are?
I like that.
Never mind.
Oh, hold on, you have my permission.
Excuse us, Rick. We're gonna see what the auction things are. Oh. Pardon?
I'll tell you which one I want.
Oh, okay.
I told them about the beans.
Since you,
Soft too.
You know, I don't have Trump cards.
oh, I still like those. I like your socks.
I should have got that instead.
This thing is not sure. I think so. But I'll have chicken. Out of the two, the
You have to
vegetarian
tell them ahead of time or
sounds
not.
best.
We were in Florida, and first we went down to Panama City, seen some friends, and we went down to Treasure Island by St. Petersburg, then over to Orlando. All the boats and everything all had big Trump flags. All the pickup trucks had Trump flags. Then you get into Orlando, and it's completely changed.
Montana makes the road nice. There's a lot of country clubs, and we fit. So we fit right in. I mean, they had military stuff.
Did they tell you table?
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want to make sure you guys got the right table.
Yeah.
I was really
Set up this Zoom thing.
Well, I just came straight from the ER, you know, so I was like,
Texting me.
I'm trying to sneak in the back, and I realized I just, you know.
Do you know what the password is?
Oh, we're here for the Wi-Fi. It's open.
Okay, good.
Right in.
Look at that. Okay. Okay. Show him, not me.
Nice to meet you.
My name's I forgot she put your name in.
Okay, well, clearly, I need to at least tell it. See, I'm connected. You guys go for it?
Because it's too hot.
The Easy Light, is it?
Is it easy light?
The Ritz Charles?
Is there a name?
Oh, there's a Ritz Charles.
He's got
Stephanie.
I'm sorry.
The next automatic.
Two calls for my dad.
Okay.
That's the first place we went to. Yeah, we met one of the military. Yeah.
That's where we got these Tyndall Air Force Base.
There we go.
The place is still there.
It is.
But well, I stayed with him down there. We usually stayed in summertime.
Viewers so far in the live feed, so
Really? Well, I had to exercise by 7:30, so I couldn't be out there.
Yes, it is.
It's just amazing.
I guess I gotta join my account first.
Summertime, they had to exercise and stand out in the heat there in Texas, where like
What do I need? A Star Warrior?
it was hot.
Yeah.
And I don't know how they did it. They did it, but I mean, and she did it too. I have MS and MS affects body temperature, and I'm always hot. It doesn't matter where I am. I came in and out.
There it is.
My wife's going to sell it. She's
We went to Panama City. Gulf Coast Road. Took the coast road down.
You went back east.
No, south. No, not Pensacola. The other way.
So now I gotta put these fires out. So I gotta miss the meeting here, right?
Is there anything there?
Yes.
Mexico Beach?
I can just turn it on, right?
Yeah.
Click this on.
Oh, is that where all those ruins were?
You see, there was a restaurant there named Two. It was there forever. Well, when we went down there, we didn't.
I'll send it. I'll send it
Of course,
in.
that hurricane wiped it out. There wasn't a whole lot of houses there anyway. But you can't right on the beach.
That's just me.
Right on the sand.
Take it off, you said?
Little did I know, my son-in-law, his uncle actually was mayor.
You know, I've done this. There's so much of like rain going on.
Yeah.
So how do I share it?
Yeah, it's still ruins.
Still nothing there?
No, it's still ruins.
Oh, you know what?
The only thing there was just a few houses. Two kids. That's all was there at Richmond.
Lots of hotels and
No, there wasn't none of that stuff.
Mexico?
Not Mexico Beach.
Mexico Beach? Isn't that on the other side?
Sorry.
Timber?
No, call him.
Yeah, it's like you're going west.
Yeah. You went a little less. That's the first time I've been there. When we got down there and met tax man for lunch. They live in St. Petersburg. And had lunch with them. And they were still doing taxes for this year. Everybody was getting extensions. And last extension was last week. Last extension. Yeah. So they'll have just a little bit of time, and then they have to start over again in January. They come up to Indiana to do taxes. Met with him.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a quick announcement, if you would. We're about 2 minutes or so away from getting started, so if you start working your way towards your tables, please, or take your seat. Again, a couple of minutes, 2 minutes away from getting started here. Thank you.
Surprised to see Anna. Bob. I still got that one cup of tea to drink when I get home. I'll drink that.
Well, you gotta have
Monday just gone. I feel I worked out, right? I get to go to Grandma's again on Monday. Grandma's again on Monday. Every other Monday, don't you guys have a meeting? And then every other Monday, in between, he takes me to Grandma's for breakfast.
That's a lot of food.
It is.
So you don't get seat. Well, I'll have them. Okay, I see that. I see. Yeah, okay.
Fresh clouds. I love that. $5 for fresh clouds. Fresh clouds? Wow. Let's see what it is. Oh, we got 2 minutes though before it starts. So you go to the meetings as well?
Yeah, I was. Like to be called Rick. Rick was one of Rick's.
Thank you. So they have a huge storm that's going over the canyon. So he made this because he said they may not want to connect. So he went this, like, you know. So that would be.
I don't go anywhere unless I see him beside me. Although I can see
Hopefully I can find
There's a fella back there in a uniform.
Ladies and gentlemen,
He's got
please take
gold
your seats.
things.
Ladies and gentlemen, please
And like
take your
report
seats.
things.
We are
Is that
getting ready to
that
go.
mistress?
Ladies and gentlemen, take your seats. We are getting ready to go. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Will Hamilton, honored to be your Master of Ceremonies tonight for the first ever M.A.S.H Ministries Gala. Big round of applause. Because we're here. We're actually in a room together. And we're sitting down, we're having conversation, and we're making this night work for very, very special reasons. I'm humbled. When I look around this room and see our first responders and see our veterans, I'm absolutely humbled to be standing up here on this stage. Because of what you do, the men and women that are first responders and in the military and the veterans, all the work that you do and the lives you save, the commitment is real. The sacrifice is real. And so thank you so very much for being here, for taking this chance to step out of your front door. A couple of things. If you haven't registered yet, there's two things that are very important tonight besides what we're talking about. Your mask. I like to have the motto is mask when you move. So when you get up and you leave your table, you go to the restroom, or you go look at a silent auction item, put your mask on, please. And then also your credit card. That's the other thing that's most important. If you haven't registered yet with the folks in the orange shirts, everybody in the orange shirts back there, raise your hand. There they go. They can help you figure out how to bid. There's a lot of great items over there, and a lot of them haven't had a bid on them yet. And bottom line, we're here to raise money tonight to help first responders and to help those who suffer from PTSD. That's why we're here. We're here to raise money and to help people. Real quick on me, if you don't remember, I used to be a sportscaster. I worked at Cole's Gym Surgery in that West 56 complex a couple times together. Former quarterback in Indianapolis, Cole's Gym Surgery right there, everybody. I was a sportscaster. I went to Channel 6 one time, and there was a stretch in my career where I was doing the news, and I also did the sports. I don't know if anybody ever remembers that. I did the news, and then I would go away for a couple minutes and come back and do the sports. And I would go out in the community, and people would look at me, and they'd kind of look at me, and I would go out and wonder who I am. And I'm like, okay. Come up and say, okay, you got to remember, here I was doing the news and the sports. They'd walk up to me and say, I know you. You're the weatherman. I was everything but the weatherman. But again, the virtual auction is underway. It's happening now. Bid, and keep bidding. And let's celebrate a great night to be together. As we do in this room, we honor our country. We honor America. We love our country. And we'll get started tonight with our national anthem. And Susan Beckwith is here to get us started with the national anthem. Susan Beckwith is here to get us started. Yeah, please stand. Yeah, please stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets echoing, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of rain?
Thank you, Susan. Former Miss Indiana, thank you. That was beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so very much. Now, to continue with our program, I want to recognize Noblesville Police Chief John Mann. Just do it from your chair. He's going to lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Chief John Mann, Noblesville. Chief John Mann, Noblesville.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Chief, and thank you, everyone. I don't know if you've had a chance to walk around the room other than looking at silent auction items, but over in this corner of the room is what we call the missing person table. Many of you have seen different looks of that, maybe other places where you've been. But let me tell you a little story, and I hope you get a chance to go over here and take a good look at this table and perhaps say a prayer. The small table is set for one. The warrior faces their destiny alone. This table is reserved to honor our missing comrades. The table is round to show our everlasting concern for those that are missing. The tablecloth is white, symbolizing the purity of their motives. The single red rose displayed in a vase reminds us of the life of each of the missing. The vase is tied with a red ribbon, symbol of our continued determination to account for our missing. A slice of lemon on the bread plate is to remind us of their bitter fate. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears of their families. The Bible represents the strength gained through faith to sustain those lost from our country, founded as one nation under God. There's a teal ribbon laying on the Bible symbolizing the invisible wounds that many of our servicemen and women struggle with, preventing them from being with their families. The lighted candle reflects our hopes for their return. The teal and purple ribbon has been placed in the empty chair to symbolize those that we have lost to suicide. The glass is inverted to symbolize their inability to share this evening's toast. Speaking of, let's raise your glasses, whatever it may be, water or lemonade. Let's toast to honor America's heroes that have given their lives that we may enjoy our freedom. Thank you. Please take a look at that if you get a chance. Please take a look at that. Patriotism and prayer. Next up, prayer. Micah Beckwith, please join us. He will lead us tonight to pray before our meal. Micah Beckwith, please join us. He will lead us tonight to pray before our meal.
Would you bow your heads and pray with me? Lord, we come before you. We ask that you would make us an instrument of your peace. Lord, we come before you. Where there is hatred, let us sow love. Where there is injury, let us pardon. Where there is doubt, give us faith. And where there is despair, give us hope. Where there is darkness, would you be our light? And where there is sadness, would you give us joy that surpasses all understanding. Heavenly Father, we come to you now. We just say thank you for what you have given us in this nation. Thank you for the freedoms and the liberties that we have. Father, I pray just a hedge of protection in Jesus' mighty name over the first responders that are in this room and their families, their children and their children's children. God, would you bless them and would you protect them? Father, we need you more than ever. We need your spirit flooding our land. And like it says in 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear them from heaven and I will heal their land. Father, more than ever, we need you now to heal our land, God. Would you let your peace and your goodness just flood our streets here in Hamilton County, here in Indiana, and all through this nation. Father, be with us tonight. Bless the food of our bodies, and thank you for everything that you are doing here and everything that you will continue to do in us and through us. It's in Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen.
Dinner. Now it's time for dinner. Is Matt Marshall? Yes, I don't see him. Matt? Is Matt Marshall here? No? Okay, that's fine. Enjoy your meal. Be sure to get up and take a look at the table. And wear your mask when you go there. And be sure to bid. Bid. That's what we're here for. So thank you. Enjoy your meal. We'll get started in about 10 minutes. Thank you. Thank you.
For each item, it's good. So, is there a number on each thing? Okay. Changes in there.
Ma'am, there's no one setting there.
had a steak dinner that they called the Capitol Grill. Are you familiar with it? But one of the items was the steak dinner. I mean, it says a Capitol Grill, I believe.
That's just the dress he's wearing a bow tie, which means that's for performance. Oh. Black tie for semi-performance. Bow tie is performance. Gray means he's
Okay, so the littler for it. So I guess due to COVID, we don't have salt and pepper. Not complaining, huh? Does anyone want any salt and pepper? No. Rick, both Rick. I had a client, was a little older in Arkansas. Anyway, before I met him, all the neighbors said he was just flat batty. Well, for his heart, he was trying to cut salt completely out of his diet. And he was, I forget the word, but anyway, that caused his scrambling. So he said yes, and he started taking salt again. Oh. And he's a neat guy. Just sharing that, push go overboard. Want me to cut yours?
And then we're not going to do anything. Yep.
Boy, and Rick. Both of them. Well, in fact, he's a builder.
This has to do with buying. Did you listen to the debate for governor? Rainwater?
No, I read the report in the paper the next day. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Because I didn't hear it either. I have they were saying that rainwater said that it's going to raise the tax on buying a house to 7%, increase it by 7%.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, you did? Well, I'd love to hear, because in the paper, I wasn't impressed. They didn't even report in the paper. He just said he'd do away with income tax, state income tax, and property tax, but not a thing about how you get revenue in the paper.
He didn't say this in the debate, I heard him say this. He said, Indian's got 1% tax. Go after like 1% every year. What they do, how they get around that, is they reassess it every year. So he said, he wants to do away with all that, all the property tax. Have a percentage, it's like, not like it's snow, you're saying 7%. When you have a closing, like you pay at a closing, property, then you don't have to pay for it. Real property. Illinois got it. Really, he didn't say for sure he would do that. He was just saying that.
So, does it sound like he's done the numbers to know it gets the revenue? Because in the paper that followed right after funding schools.
Well, see, also he said we waste.
We
The
do.
government wastes a lot. He said we need to figure out what the waste is. And we're going to save a lot of money. So that's what he's saying.
And governors that try doing like before, rate those whole.
In Arkansas, every little burg has their own school district. And some years back, so a little tiny school district, the superintendent of schools made $125 grand a year. Well, anyway, Huckabee, when he was governor, tried to consolidate the school districts. You would have thought a war was started. And so, they couldn't do it. Well, combine some of the small ones and, and there'd probably be some advantages. But, oh no. And so it did not come about. So what else did Rainwater have to say? Yeah. Well, I'm with on the M.A.S.H. What the paper reprinted, excuse me, says
Rainwater said that
Obviously, Rainwater's the only one that says no. Everybody he's a constitutional, right? Government don't have to involve. He said he's pro-life. Yeah, just M.A.S.H. That's what he said. Of course, you want to talk about Holcomb? Holcomb is the one that canceled Easter services. Don't give us a ticket for the round. I got
you did?
Yes. Planned Parenthood. Planned Parenthood. Yeah, I heard that on. In fact, I heard that on Bob Kendall's WC College.
But our choices, well, here I pretty much, after reading the paper, I wasn't even going to consider Rainwater, and although I'm not impressed with Holcomb at all. I mean, to me, he's a minor.
There's a lot of Rainwater. I don't know if he's definitely not taking it. In real life, they're hoping General Assembly take a lot of power away from the governor. And because it's time. Go back. I think he's been with some protests. But I was at a couple of protests when the White came.
Really?
And
did you carry a gun?
I did. they have one legislator, I don't know who's from Southern Party, and he said, they're a little mad at it. So I look at January, that's their annual. I think they're going to make it so you don't have as much power anymore. I hope that's one hand.
Did you read any of the executive orders on wearing the mask? Wearing masks? Holcomb's executive order. No, have you actually read the executive order? Well, let me back up. I got an email that said you want to get notices. So I said, yes, on COVID update. Well, anyway, and so there's a place you can click and you can read the executive order. And it is the most liberal. I mean, forget about directions. Whereas, or hereby, whatever it is, all the way down. And then he states what he's going to do. And the one before this, on 4, he stated the date and a day. And I kid you not, they did not match. Typical liberal stuff. And it was never correct. You know, and then he goes, and then we, you know, what are we at? 4.5 now, extended? And then we went into the first 4.5, but I mean the wording on it. I mean, I don't mean just literally, it's the
I was following this stuff. I was watching when he made these things.
Oh, really?
I was watching it. He just made this sick. I had to watch it just to see what he did. He loves that power. Yeah, I mean,
They're all about entertainment.
That's the only reason I'm voting for them. I'm mad. He's talking about all the protests that we have down there. Those were the people at the protests are the ones that voted for it.
well, you know what I didn't like it.
Hello, I'm Senator Todd Gala. I want to thank M.A.S.H and all the people participating in tonight's gala for raising awareness and helping support our veterans, first responders, and others who are struggling with the effects of post-traumatic stress. As a United States Marine, I know firsthand how serious the impacts of post-traumatic stress can be on an individual and their family, and how important it is to continue to raise awareness and decrease the stigma surrounding getting the mental health that someone really needs. With thousands of people suffering from post-traumatic stress, the efforts from organizations like yours will go a long way in helping to lighten the burden carried by so many through the effective tools and resources that you provide. Thank you for all that you do. God bless. Thank you for all that you do. God bless.
Thank you, Senator Young. And well, there are several other elected. I'm honored to be elected official in Noblesville. I'm there are several other Noblesville I'm the president this year. There are other elected officials in the room. If you would please stand up so we can give everybody a quick round of applause. Some of our hairbrain back there. Yep. Thank you very much. being here. It is a special service to get involved in that world, and it can take a lot of your time in your life. So we appreciate your commitment to it. I do want to bring up Jerry Torrey, State Representative. Jerry, if you want to come up here and say a couple things, please welcome State Representative Mr. Jerry Torrey. I'm going to tell him that he gets 2 minutes of uninterrupted time.
Virtual mute is fun.
Thank you very much. I was back there trying to bid on the capital building certificate because it was $65 and it's a $100 certificate. So I thought, that's not what this is about. So I was trying to put $125 on it, but apparently the app will only let me go $5 increments. So I had to keep bidding against myself. But anyway, just so you know that, because please take advantage of the auction. I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to the first responders of the year and all of the first responders in Hamilton County. I know firsthand, I was in Florida at a cottage I used to have down there. About ready to go to sleep, had a book in hand, and had the light on, but I actually think I fallen asleep when my cell phone rang. It was our current fire chief. I think then he was deputy chief or something. But anyway, called and tell me that they were at my house, at my townhouse in Carmel, and we'd had a major fire. And they saved the place. I almost can't even talk about it without tearing up. So thank you so much to all the first responders. The only thing about the campaign I'm going to say is to thank the first responder groups that have endorsed my campaign, including the Fraternal Order of Police, Indiana State Police Alliance, and the firefighters. That means a lot to me. That means so much to me that they've endorsed my campaign. And I appreciate all of you guys very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Now we'll go back to bidding. By the way, that will close. It's an early one tonight. It closes at 7:30. So you have just about 25 minutes, I think, about right around 20 minutes or so to get your bids in. We will shut that off at 7:30. Another elected official who is here with us tonight that I definitely want to bring to the stage. We are so honored to have her here with us tonight. Our current state senator and candidate for the Republican bid to win the State House, or the Congressional U.S. Congress, District 5, this Victoria Sparks. Please welcome.
Thank you for having me. All I want to say is going to be a very important election. You know, and it's a very good election. And this is election not just about Republican and Democrats. This is election about ideas and ideals. It's still going to be a free republic. Or we want to be a republic with big politicals on top, political elites on top, and everyone else equally poor. And I'll tell you something. I brought my daughters, I have 2 young daughters, to the beaches of Normandy last summer. I would highly suggest anyone to bring the children and grandchildren. It was a great experience for them because we ran through the cemetery and we talked with the kids. And my daughters were like, oh my gosh, there are so many very young men on the crosses who died. And I said, yes. And these people stormed the beaches. And they were not afraid. And they knew that a lot of them were going to die. So I said, you know what? And we sometimes are afraid to push the bottoms, legislator. So I always remind that experience to my children. I always remind to my colleagues. And I always tell them, you know, you're going to have a lot of battles to fight in your life. You know, you'll have your own battles, you'll have your own war. But this battle is this war is not for you guys, but for all of the people who died fighting for our freedoms. So I appreciate everyone who done it, everyone who's still doing it. We have a lot of battles to win. We'll have a lot of battles to fight, but we need to start winning to win this war. So I would appreciate if you talk to people around you. This is an extremely important election. It's about what is our country about. It's election about our freedoms. And we're the greatest republic that ever existed. And our generation shouldn't be wait to let it fail. We cannot do that. So I appreciate everyone here that ever fought and fought these battles, because you risk our lives, and we cannot be these weak people that we are not going to be willing. And it's a tough election. It's a very polarized environment, but we have important people, and I hope that people pay attention. That not about some personnel positions. Oh, talk a lot. People pay attention about policy, pay attention what is good for our future and what is good for our country. So I appreciate all of you being here. Karen Pence, Second Lady Pence, was here this morning. She has her children serving in the military. She's very passionate about working actually in a lot of initiatives for mental health, for people in the military, for spouses. It's a good job for them to be able to it's a sacrifice for a lot of women. So she wants to be a great ally for all military families, and particularly for people that struggle with issues coming from out of the military, because it's very difficult. A lot of first responders dealing with the same issues, so she'll be a great ally with our former Governor, Vice President Pence, and all Republicans at the federal level. And I'd be happy to see you on the ground. Just make sure that, I was saying, we're going to have so much stuff going on. The Spark is going to be flying in the broomstick soon, but it's a lot of Hollywood out there. So it's going to be entertaining next 10 days. At least it's not boring, but I appreciate all of my colleagues in the State House. They have very important races. We have a lot of local people. They have, important races, but we have to remember what it always makes our country great. So thank you so much, and you're the people that make our country great, and we'll always be there to support you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Victoria, and God bless you. And I know if you're like me, I want her in Washington fighting for me. Thank you very much for what you do. And always thank you. Hey, real quickly, the military, veterans in this room. If you're a veteran, please stand up. Veteran. If you're a veteran. Thank you for your service, guys, men and women. I really do appreciate all that you've done and continue to do. Real quickly, sponsors. I missed that off the top. We have 20 minutes. 20 minutes and the silent auction will be closed in 20 minutes, so keep bidding. Our title sponsor tonight, New Life Solutions. Thank you, New Life Solutions, for being our title sponsor. We have silver sponsors, Felton Financial Services, Your CBD Stores, Gaylor Electric, in memory of Clayton Randall. Bronze sponsors, Westfield Fire Department, Lindsay Homes Inc., Beth Devine Personal Stylist and Wardrobe Expert, Wright and Associates PC, Cityscape Residential, Bethesda Counseling Services, Indy Paintball Battleground, Mark Hairbrandt, Hamilton County Commissioner, Will Hampton, Mark Beckwith for Congress, in memory of George Dale, in memory of Dell Falls, in memory of Bert Phelps, and in memory of Pete Foster. Big round of applause for all of our sponsors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So continue to enjoy your dinner. We're about 15 minutes from silent auction ending, and our featured speaker, keynote speaker, will come up here next. So thank you. Keep bidding. Thank you. Keep bidding.
Gal singing the national anthem was good, wasn't she? What were you protesting? Okay. And he didn't think that would be You remember Mark Madden? The way my tenant, their colored folks, across the street. Anyway, he said the guy was whining about he wanted to get up, and I think it was Chicago, to go to a Black Lives Matter. And Mark said, "What do you want to go to that for?" And he goes, "What, black? My life matters." And Mark says, "What's it have to do with Black Lives Matter?" You know, of course, Mark doesn't import it. You know, said socialist Marxist. You know, he thinks it's all about black people. Yeah, right. So are you a general contractor? I mean, who have the license? I mean, I used to be a window rep, and you know, when things were blowing and going, like in '78 in Denver, when it's just blowing and going, and I can't imagine the superintendents working with more people, you know, every supplier. Oh, okay. Levin going to Shelbyville area? Oh, okay. Admire ability on design. On interiors, I couldn't tell you where to put a couch. But on the land, where to put the house, face the house, lay it out. I mean, I love land. Going inside in colors. Oh, really? No, I don't think they're going to be here. I think he said they were unable to make it. Oh. told him you weren't behaving.
Oh, good.
He's aware. I did, and I said, I hate to tell him anyone's fault, but I did. By the way, if you ever feel like calling Mark, he can really use Mark Mazur. What he can now is no excuse. He overslept last Monday. Well, he quit the casino. Yeah, well, to get, he literally has a broken neck, and that's when he got out of the Army during PT. Well, I think advanced PT. I mean, he was, I think, in Ranger school, something. But anyway, he broke his neck, and then he has, at least a rotor cuff. You know, one shoulder. Pardon? Yes. So he has a lot of pain. He's been going around the VA, and he actually had surgery. Anyway, he still has a lot of pain. And he's been going to therapy, and he got with some orthopedic surgery. And anyway, he said it wasn't quite bad enough to get another surgery. But anyway, that's why he quit, because you can't work at the casino and schedule an appointment. Oh yeah, there is no, they're very strict about that. And with the VA, he tried, it's real difficult to schedule it always on your time off on one of the orthopedic surgeries that aren't available all the time. Hey, it's pure righteousness here.
No.
Not a.
I have a hard time.
And I tell you, forgiveness.
I might snap on the
I was gonna say, there's a plenty.
That'll kick me over, yeah.
Grab something.
I will do that, thanks, yeah.
How's the auction doing, do you know? Oh, thank you. So, is your wife here tonight? She's cleaning up right now.
We're not meeting this Monday, but a week from this Monday.
Oh, yeah. I know you must be
right.
Where you spend all your days on Monday.
Yes, I'll do this every other Monday.
Rick, when you were absent Monday, I mean, we discussed you a lot.
Have Rick? Have Rick.
I found that out.
I've got more compliments on this here tonight.
This would be the first.
And there's a guy here with cooler socks than me. Anyway, the guy has it looks like American flag, and he has it up the side. Really cool guy. Oh! text phone.
I would have been there, but I was on the beach.
Oh, R&R, huh? There's a lot of busty heads on these.
Here's the guy here with those socks. Cool outfit. He's got a sport coat and jeans.
That's the way to travel.
Yo, cool. Brown shoes.
Some people can pull it off.
Huh?
I couldn't pull it off.
Here, take one.
How we doing? Good to see you. Alright, just call whenever. I'll give you a call. You got me in trouble.
Just an update, we're about 7 minutes from the bidding closing tonight. It's 7:30. 7 minutes. Go on there. If you're on the app or on the text, it is giving you constant alerts. There's a lot of items that have not been bid on at all. You could go in there and just get it to the bottom price if you want to. Of course, if you're here to help the cause, then just go ahead and bid more. But about 7 minutes. 7 minutes. Thank you.
You guys bidding on these things? Is that okay to ask? Well, now that I've offended you. Yeah. That has got to be the world's tiniest torch. Is that a torch? No, it looks cool.
What do you
Ooh. Key lime. The food coloring. I make the key lime pie. Not everyone likes it. What's up with the like them and love it? Red velvet. I didn't know you Yankees knew what red velvet was. Set up. work up along the IREBA's Independent Realtors Association. Because all by myself, I want some education and keep up. Anyway, it is a blast. But we used to meet in what are they? Not Mormons. What are they? Scottish Temples? Masons. We used to meet in, behind where their little cafe is, buffet thing.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so they talked me into, what's the thing that's indigenous here, if that's the word? Tenderloin. I asked what that was. You got it. I've never had it. It's pretty good. Was that kind of what Indianapolis is especially?
They have not done that. They did cheese cake one time.
Pretty good. You're serious? Here we're in the meeting and they paused. He said, well, how do you like it? Now we meet.
The clock is ticking. We're under 60 seconds, I believe. Under 60 seconds to make your bid. Make them now. Get over there on your phone. Hey, just real quickly on that. If you win, you're going to get a text that says you won. The checkout is back there, of course, with the orange shirts. And all the items are there. Make sure you take your item. But thank you again for bidding. Again, I know where we are. 30 seconds, maybe? Probably a little ahead of us. Keep going. Jim George has a bid right now. He's texting his wife. Whichever one you want to do. I'm going to give you the high sign that it's officially closed. We are closed. The auction is closed. So you will find out if you won with a text any minute. Yes, you have one line. Yeah, I do want to say it takes a lot of work. When you think about this, folks, this is the first time they tried to do this M.A.S.H Ministries deal. There was some talk of, should we not do it? Could we not do it? Should we move it? What should we do? But there was a committee that trudged forward and said, we're going to make this happen. And when you think of the work to get all of these silent auction items and to get this event and to get it all set up, I do want Cy and the entire committee that was put together for this gala, please stand up. The committee members for the M.A.S.H Ministries Gala, please stand up. Give them a big round of applause. Thank you for Sarah Phelps will get at least a 10-month vacation out of this, right? You don't get it? The kids are calling? Thank you for all you do. You don't get it? Especially. The kids are calling? Thank you for all you do. Again, thanks to our sponsors, our title sponsor, New Life Solutions, and also the silver sponsors, Phelps Financial Services, Your CBD Store, Gaylor Electric, and in memory of Clayton. And the memory of taking your
Didn't you say both of grandfathers were involved with this?
Thank you, Paul. Paul Phelps, everybody. You're going to hear from him in a second. He's adding something later. We can handle it. Mr. Smiley, please come to the stage. I understand this guy is a poet. He's got something special for us tonight in connection with what we're all here for. Special for us tonight. Mr. Fine.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to be here with you in this room with so many heroes. It's my privilege. I just want to thank you. In this room with so many heroes. My name is Ricky Smiley. I'm a poet out of Indianapolis. The sands of time in this hourglass that we call life are quickly dissipating. The illusion is that we have plenty of time to get it right with God, but the reality of the matter is that we have plenty of time. We must choose this day who we will serve. Will it be God or will it be man? We must choose. The story was told of a man who was a fence straddler, a procrastinator, if you will, always putting off for tomorrow what should be done today. And as a result of his lifestyle, devastation came upon him. He lost everything. He lost his possessions, he lost his family, he lost everything, even eternal life. He lost his possessions. Fortunately, if this man was just a dream, a vision, he was given a second chance, a second opportunity to reaffirm his commitment in serving our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So many do not take advantage of that opportunity, so I implore you this day to make your calling and election sure. For no man knows the day nor the hour, when time as we know it shall be no more. The man explains his vision like this. Within the depths of my mind, the train of thought is formed, the sight unseen. This creation of his imagination, as real as it may seem, was just the beginning of an incredible dream. At first it was like a shadow vague in the darkness of night, sparkling like a faraway star, showing only a spectrum of light. The beginning of this dream was like a plot plan of scheme with thoughts binding together to create this dream. As he emerged into this fragmented collage of thoughts and images, the dream became painfully clear. Twas the night before Jesus came, and all through the house not a person was praying, not one in the house. Their Bibles were laid on shelves without care in hopes that Jesus would not come there. The children were dressed all curled into bed, not one said kneeling or bowing their head, and mom in her rocker with baby on lap was watching the late show while I took a nap. When out of the east there arose such a clatter, I sprang to my feet to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, opened the shutters and threw back the sash, with what to my wondering eyes should appear but an angel, proclaiming that Jesus was here. With a light like the sun sending forth a bright ray, I knew in a moment this must be the day. The light of his face made me cover my head. It was Jesus returning, just like he said. And although I possessed worldly wisdom and wealth, I cried when I saw him in spite of myself. In the book of life which he held in his hand was written the names of every saved man. He spoke not a word. He searched for my name. When he said it's not here, he searched for my name. My head hanging in shame. With those whose names had been written in love, he gathered to take to his Father above. I fell to my knees, but it was too late. I had waited too long. I had waited too long, and thus I sealed my fate. I stood and I cried as it rose out of sight. Oh, if I had only been ready tonight. In the words of this vision, the meaning is clear. The coming of Jesus is drawing near. There's only one life. And when comes that last call, we'll find that the Bible was right after all. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Smiley. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Smiley. Thank you. Well, he has been a first responder for over 30 years, and 20 years of those have been in leadership positions. Just recently, Westfield launched a fire resource paramedic program, which partners with multiple Hamilton County agencies addressing issues with the elderly, mental health issues, opioid addiction. And he has been a leader in many, many different positions, really in several states across our great United States. And we're so happy he's with us tonight. He is our keynote speaker. Please welcome Westfield Fire Chief Marcus Reed.
of all, thank you all for coming. This first annual gala. I think this is a worthwhile event, and I hope that we can grow it. And I'll say that I'm especially thankful for everybody here, in one way or another, I'm involved in very supportive, and whether it's with our military folks, our police officers, or our public safety people. I very much appreciate it. I gotta say, I really struggled with how to figure out what to talk about today. Not really having a sense of what the audience would be like, so on and so forth. But the thing that occurred to me was that I started thinking back, and I was just going to share a little bit about. I started thinking back about, I think, kind of where we're at, and I thought back, and I began to think, I've been doing this for a long time, and I didn't realize until I started thinking about it, about how many people I did work in the and it's just one of those things that it's, for me, it's just like I feel like it kind of normalized it. One of those things, just kind of how it's been. I had these. I'm going to share a story. I had a big truck where I worked at 12 Valley Fire District. It's just outside of Portland, Oregon. That's a whole other story, right? But Bruce was this big 6'4" dude, and he had this, I can't even imitate his dark, raspy voice. But we do this thing in the morning, these things called house duty, right? And they'll go around and they vacuum, empty the garbage, and that stuff. And so I was in my battalion chief's office, and Bruce always knock on the door. Here's housekeeping. So I think housekeeping. Bruce took his life, and I forgot that. I literally forgot that. But there are things that you don't forget. The first call, but there are things when I just first got on, I was on a medic unit, and it was a traffic accident with a mom or two children that passed away. And I can tell you that I can see those two kids even to this day. I can see their faces. They were different than what it looked like nearly 40 years ago. So I talk about that because I think it's so important for us to kind of recognize that what I appreciate about this group and what I want to thank you again for is just getting in the arena with us, right? As Teddy Roosevelt said, getting the man in the arena, and it's very, very, very humbling. From the military side of it, I actually have had that experience as well. As a training chief, and we had multiple folks in our agency that did multiple tours in Iraq. And had a profound effect on our organization. We even had some recruits that we brought in that had tours prior. And it was an experience that I look at what Paul and what the folks at M.A.S.H are doing, and it's really, really fantastic work. And it's work that needs to continue and needs support and it needs to get done. And I'm very thankful that they're kind of reaching out and going to help public safety with that. And I'm very, because we really have, I think in a sense, kind of struggled with how to deal with this stuff. Because we really are that group that our job is to fix things. You call us up and we come and we fix things, right? We fix people and we take care of people on their worst day. We are there, so we are the citizens in almost every community, the fire department, police departments are the social safety nets of our society. And yet, we haven't really done a very good job of creating a social safety net for our people. So, a couple of things to think a little bit about, I guess I wanted to talk briefly. I'll just kind of give you some numbers. So since 2014, firefighter suicides have outpaced line of duty deaths at nearly a 2-to-1 ratio. They also replaced cancer and cardiac arrest as the major cause of firefighter mortality. So suicide has now become the number one killer of professional firefighters in the United States of America. According to the Firefighter Behavioral Health Alliance, since 2014, there have been 682 firefighter suicides, which translates to roughly over 100 a year annually. And in keeping with that, this year in 2020, we have a total of 97 firefighter suicides versus 72 medical deaths. Here's the kind of interesting one, though. They estimate that only 40% of firefighter suicides are actually recorded, because the fact of the matter is that death records are not indexed by occupation. So they're estimating that 40% only 40% of those are actually death. Well, basically there's 60% that's sitting out there that we don't really know. And then finally, our depression rate is 5 times that of the general public. So, not just my own personal experience, but since I've been at Westfield, we're no stranger to PTSD. We're no stranger to firefighter suicide. In 2014, we had a 4-year firefighter take his life. It was prior to my time, but nonetheless, that has occurred. And in fact, we just recently disabled a firefighter out about 2 months ago with PTSD. So, I guess I would just say this doesn't stop with firefighters or police officers. Roughly only about 3 to 5% law enforcement have some type of suicide prevention training or program in place. So again, there's a huge opportunity here. And we know that mental health issues are becoming a much larger problem in our country. And I think we've seen that. We've seen that in all of our communities. I think there's a community here now, whether it's Westfield, Noblesville, Fishers, or Carmel, all have some type of mental health component either underway or established. And it's important. I also think we haven't really, I hate to say this, but with COVID, I think a couple of things. We've already noticed some changes in our own employees in certain terms of some of their behaviors, and we're trying to figure some of that out. But I think if you add the COVID piece, if you think the mix of this, right? Just the mental health issue, the social isolation, and then the economic hardship that comes with people losing their jobs and losing their livelihoods, creates a pretty pure mixture of some potentially bad problems. And so this is where we're going to have to, I think, as a society, going to have to kind of come together and work together to solve our problems in that way. So what else can we do, right? So I want to talk a little bit about what I think we've done. We've talked a little bit about, it seems like we aren't doing anything, but in fact we are. I think that, well, first of all, it's more of a philosophical piece and a mindset that we need to basically view and treat mental health behaviors no differently than we recognize someone suffering a cardiac arrest or any of the rest of it. Now, that's going to require us to actually spend some time and educate our people, which I would tell you that the majority of fire departments, I cannot speak to police departments, but the majority of fire departments in Hamilton County are actually engaged in all of that. Most of our people have that. And I do know that the police have significance, it's CIS training, I can't remember the acronym, but they have gone through that too. So we have taken that step. I would say that we are, Westfield is a participating member of all of our other brothers and sisters from Carmel, Fishers, from Noblesville, in terms of our county peer support, which deals not only with the PTSD pieces, but also deals with just death and tragic events within our organization, which do occur on a significant basis. All of the recruits at Westfield are given instruction information as a part of our total onboarding process. And we also have given, everybody, as I said, has been given mental health components. And then in 2021, we are adding a behavioral health component to our whole health and wellness program with our friends from Protein Tactical here, Georgia Indian Group. We talked about our field paramedic program, which we have combined with our Well-Being Coalition component. And then we also, 29 partners with Carmel fire, and them in combination with our police departments and Hamilton County, on the Hamilton County Council on Alcohol and Other Drugs, which are opioid quick response team. That's been in place now for, I want to say, 2 years. So the things that you can be proud of, I think, are that we are talking to one another, we are working with each other, I think, in a really, really good way, but there's still a long way to go. I'm looking forward to working with all as we move forward. And I have to say, at times, it seems daunting, to be quite frank. There's a lot in front of us, and there's a lot of daunting, and there are a lot of things to deal with, but thinking about that, I thought about it and I had to write it down here. It was a quote from Edward Hale that most of you are probably familiar with, but it's, I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do something that I can do. Because I cannot do everything. And I hope that all of us are in that and have that mindset. And on behalf of all public safety workers in Hamilton County, I really want to take a moment to thank you all. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight.
Thank you, Chief, for your message and for your service. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chief. Now we've entered the point where we're all sitting here thinking about PTSD and the sacrifices and the real risk. And you think about just the table here, again, the empty person table here, again. Tonight, one of our sponsors, we're in memory of Clayton Randall. And his mom, Jamie Tucker, is here. Jamie, please stand up. His mom. And so, like Chief said, what are the solutions? What are the answers? So, well, we're here tonight to support M.A.S.H Ministries because they've got an idea. They've got a big idea to build a group and to build a mission and to continue on their mission to help those who suffer. And without any more me talking, let's let them tell their own story. As you turn your attentions to the video screens, and please take a look at a good look at what M.A.S.H Ministries is all about. What M.A.S.H Ministries is all about.
We had just left the police station in Al-Alamia. The day was October 27, 2003. As we drove out of the city, we heard a loud explosion. That explosion was so strong that we felt the ground vibrate underneath our Humvees as we were driving out of the city. We turned back, see smoke coming up from the area we were just in. Not long before that explosion, we had heard one of our platoons in our company check into that location. We turned around and drove back as fast as we could. We didn't know at that moment if any of them would make it. Thankfully, no U.S. soldiers died. However, many were severely injured. I was saddened by the loss of our Iraqi friends. The first few months we were in Iraq were spent building this police station. We hired the Iraqi police, we trained them, and along the way we gained many friends. Around this Iraqi police station there were many businesses and homes that were destroyed as well. I was sad as I looked out and I saw the fathers and the mothers and the children digging through the rubble, only to find their loved ones deceased. Hearing those screams will haunt me for the rest of my life. I'd never seen so much death before. Much of my time in Iraq was spent dealing with death. Death of my friends, the enemy, translators, and even our own. Moments like that have a way of changing your life forever. After coming home from Iraq, I struggled with what I had seen, what I had done, what I had gone through. I struggled with PTSD to the point where I attempted to commit suicide multiple times. It wasn't until I realized that what I was struggling with wasn't a disorder, but instead I was struggling with PTSI, post-traumatic stress injury. That little change of thought, that helped me realize that I had hope, that I could fix, I could heal from what I had gone through. After that, God gave me victories over post-traumatic stress. After that, I began to look around and see my fellow veterans and what they were going through. Gave me a burden to help them as well. Gave me the burden to help them as well.
Clayton Mark Randall's earthly journey began October 28, 1982, in Houston, Texas. As a little boy, he would have weapons with him most of the time. And if a villain would just dare come into his imagination, he would take those weapons out, and in just a few minutes he'd have them annihilated. When he was a cavalry scout in the United States Army, he had the best training, the best weapons, the best logistical support the country could offer. And that made him very successful in engaging in defeating the Iraqi forces and any civilian combatants that they came across. But when he got home, as a combat veteran, he had a different kind of war to fight. This was a very difficult war because now his enemy was invisible and very powerful. It was a very difficult war because now the weapons that he had available to him was not very effective. It was basically useless. And their logistical support that he was given was almost non-existent. So eventually, his enemy, which is known as post-traumatic stress disorder, it wore him down, and it delivered a fatal blow on September 3rd of 2017. At the age of 34, when he died from a drug overdose.
So could you tell me a little bit about this picture? Who is that?
This is my son, Clayton Randall, and he was a cavalry scout. Did 2 tours in Iraq. He left, squared away, an all-American young man. He did not come home. All-American young man. The person that came home to me was almost unrecognizable. And we spent about 10 years on a very long, hard journey until his dying.
And how did that end?
He had untreated PTSD, a drug addiction.
Sorry. Could you tell me a little bit about Clayton before he went into the military? Could you tell me?
Before he went in,
about Clayton
he had a great dry sense of humor. And sometimes you have to really watch him to tell if he was kidding or not. But he would love to get people on there. He was very compassionate. He had a huge heart. But I felt like after whatever happened to him in July of 2003, and he felt like God deserted him. But 10 days before he died, we were sitting in the car, and he said, Mom, he said, when that man from our church put his arm on me, he said, something powerful happened inside of me. Now that wounded spirit was healed, but his emotions and his mind wasn't. And so he got stressed, and he went back to the drugs, and his body wasn't used to it. And I walked in on a Sunday morning to bring him his breakfast and his medicine and to check on him. I found him to bring him his breakfast, his medicine and to check on him.
You mentioned earlier that your son wrote 2 letters. Do you think you can read those?
But this would have been written within a year of him coming home. Said nightmares are what come to me at night. Maybe it's the horrors of war, or maybe my mind is just stuck in a scary place. Whatever has brought this curse on me isn't letting go. The things I see are haunted, unspeakable. My body jerks and turns in all directions. I wake up scared to death and covered in sweat. I don't know if the dreams will ever stop, or if I'll ever find peace. I can only scream in the darkness and hope someone hears me. And that's one of the main things about your program. There are so many veterans that are screaming for help. Some of them have given up. A lot of families have given up on them. But they're not broken. And this shows just the darkness, the inner pain that he had, the guilt that he did not know what to do with. So I thought I left the darkest part of my soul in the desert, my worst actions buried in the sand, that I got away clean and the monster was gone. I was fooled. There's a price to be paid. Back home now, things are different. I turned most of my hatred into self-destructive drug use. I wanted to start over. It's too late. Misery follows me. Physical wounds heal, but I have been spiritually killed. I have no tears to cry. Death has been welcomed so many times, but Satan doesn't let you off his hook, baby. And if someone would have just known how to reach him at this point, I think his whole life would have been totally different. But I do know there's many of them out there, and they need help. And I appreciate what you're doing.
And I thank you for being willing to talk to us about Clayton and telling us his story. Thank you very much. Clayton and telling us his story. Hello, my name is Paul Phelps. I started a nonprofit in 2015 by the name of M.A.S.H. M.A.S.H stands for Mobile Assistance for Servicemen and Women at Home. In the beginning, our thought was to go where veterans are and hold retreats and conferences. And as time went on, we began to see a need also for first responders. In 2017, after the Las Vegas shooting, we immediately went down there and worked with the first responders as well as the victims. As we worked with them, we began to realize that there is a large burden, or a huge need anyways, for the help that first responders have. And as you turn on the TV, I'm sure you'll see almost every week there's another shooting, another just some crisis, police officers being attacked, they need our help. And when we began, we saw a need, but now, as we see, the need is far greater than we realized. So now, as we see, the need is far greater than we realized.
21 veterans commit suicide every day. Every month, more than 1,000 veterans attempt to take their own lives. Veterans of Iraq and Afghanistan are 75% more likely to die in a car accident than those that are not veterans. 80% of first responders will be involved in a traumatic event sometime in their career. First responders are more likely to take their own life than to die in the line of duty. About 19% of police officers have PTSD. Firefighters are 3 times as likely to commit suicide than die in the line of duty. The effect of post-traumatic stress injuries on the family has been devastating. It leaves families shattered and often permanently broken. Children are 4,000 times more likely to commit suicide if their parents commit suicide. If we wish to help these children, we must help these veterans and first responders see that there is hope before it is too late. M.A.S.H's theme verse is Psalm 46:1. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble.
Please welcome both of us.
Well, also, right now is the time we've all been waiting for. It's time to open up those wallets. You know, after 2017, that's where I'll start off. When I went down to Las Vegas, started working with the first responders. So we started in 2013 working with veterans and first responders, which we really didn't focus that much on first responders. But after the Las Vegas shooting, we got connected with a lot of chaplains. A lot of them, who is ready for something like that, where you have 30,000 people that are shot at one time? That's ridiculous. They were really also for the aftermath of what was going to happen. There's something called secondary PTSD. That is, when we come and see something happen that someone else did to themselves, we then feel as though it's okay for us to do that same action. They killed themselves, so even though that may not have been okay, now I think it's okay. Shortly after that, my wife and I, probably about a week after being home, we get a phone call from one of their chaplains over there in Las Vegas, say, okay, I have a guy that's got a gun to his mouth. Can you talk him down? I had never had a phone call like that. It took about 6 hours. And thankfully, I tell you, I was pretty stressed at that point in time. Thankfully, I was able to talk him down. Unfortunately, we've had multiple more phone calls like that. But I couldn't do any of that when my wife and I first started this. We were the ones that was paid for everything. We started off in 2013. We started with one PTSD group over in Wisconsin. And I have another PTSD group here right now that I have in Shelbyville. Over in you guys, you want to stand up? PTSD groups are very important. So our retreats and the conferences that we do, in the beginning, it started off with just 5 or 6 here or there. And the retreats started getting larger. And at some point, though, we can't pay for it anymore. So we're like, well, we need to do a gala and ask people for help. Because there are so many of these first responders, which obviously you guys know, there's a lot of first responders here in this room. You know that there are a lot of people that are hurting. I know one thing that really helped me out with is the PTSI. A lot of these people don't understand. It's not necessarily a disorder, because you get diagnosed with a disorder. It doesn't mean you're broken. You can be fixed. It's an injury. It's an invisible injury that can be not necessarily fixed, but you can't. What was it, Dr. Barber? It can be treated. Thank you. Dr. Barber is actually one of the first board members that was on board with me with M.A.S.H when we first formed back in 2013. So, to ask. I don't know if you knew this or not. I'll tell you. It costs about $1,000 for a family to come to one of our retreats. About $400 for an individual to come to one of our retreats. Now, for a PTSD conference, it's about $50 for a person to come to our conference. Now, so I have to ask. Our goal for this gala was to raise $10,000, and so far, do we know how much we've raised so far? Is it close to 5,000? Do we know how much we've raised so far? What? Yes. So,
we had four attendance before closing hours.
Okay. Almost $5,000, so we're halfway there. So, that's where the big ask. Oh, open your wallets if you can, or credit cards, put those credit cards up. If you have a checkbook and you'd like to write a check, hey, we accept those too. So, do what? Yes, and your cell phones. If you're, do what? I know I'm 40, so I should be able to understand how to use smartphones, but my wife, right here, she is the one that helps me out with that kind of stuff. I don't know if any of you guys understand it. My wife. So, if you need help with your phones, we have several people in orange here. If you would like, now these are people that are very intelligent with, some of them work at Amazon doing their computer stuff. So, you know these people are pretty smart. If you have any questions, how do I donate? I want to donate $1,000, please. Then get your phone out, donate. Now also, let me tell you a little story also that goes around with this, the video there that was right there over in Alameda. That was my unit that was there. We were there for several days trying to clean up what had happened, trying to figure out what had happened. There was a car bomb that went off. The car bomb, when it blew, there was a car that was right next to it that then blew across the street onto a building on the other side. It devastated many houses and buildings that were around it. It shattered windows. Overnight, there's not a lot of windows, but any glass and windows for about 4 miles around. Very devastating. And as the people searched the rubble, I just looked at that and this devastation. And when you come home, just like with a lot of these first responders, when you're in the moment, your adrenaline is pumping, you really don't think about what's going on. But when you get home and your adrenaline drops, you start thinking about the things that you had seen and what you had gone through. You don't really want to talk about that to your wife. That's where these conferences and retreats, where we get these first responders, these veterans, to be able to come and talk to others that have been through something similar. Not only that, it's very helpful for the spouses, because they might wonder, man, is my husband really that bad? Maybe they might find out, okay, this person's wife or this person's husband is going through something similar. That spouse, they can connect with another spouse that's going through something similar, and they can feel as though they're not alone. It's very important. A lot of these different groups that are out there forget about the significant others that these first responders have. So, open up those wallets. We'd love to get these first responders and veterans in to these things. These people that are struggling with PTSD, this post-traumatic stress, are going through enough hard times. It's time for us to be able to help them, to be a blessing to them, for them to be able to come to these retreats and these conferences without having to pay as much as perhaps I'd love to see it where these things don't cost them anything at all. So, that was Dr. Barlow's and I's hope from the very beginning. And we've tried to keep the prices down as low as possible. We've tried to keep the prices. Go ahead. I don't know how long does it take for you guys to get 5 seconds, a minute? I don't know. Type in a couple zeros with a 1 or 2 in the beginning. So thank you very much for being here. Also, the sponsors, thank you very much. New Life, thank you very much. I know there's several of you guys that weren't able to come because, unfortunately, because of COVID. There's several from Chicago and Illinois and Ohio. So, and also, keep in mind also the first responders with this COVID thing that's going on right now. They didn't have enough stress already. So, thank you very much for being here.
Sally, how long will this?
Thank you. Thank you very much for getting involved in bidding. I think I was going to ask Si.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jim.
I'm not reading the script very well. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jim Robertson. I'm the CEO of New Life Solutions. New Life Solutions is the supplier of New V3, the technology that is dedicated to mitigating pain, anxiety, depression, and sleeplessness, non-invasively and non-pharmaceutically. We're here tonight to support the M.A.S.H Ministries and the gala we have here tonight. We're sorry that our team can't be here in person under the circumstances, but the majority of us are joining virtually. Thanks to the M.A.S.H Ministries team, they've set up a virtual link so we can all kind of watch the happenings tonight. New V3 is a lightweight, miniaturized wearable technology that was designed and invented by myself and the design team to really utilize the autonomic nervous system, rebalance that autonomic nervous system to mitigate those symptoms of pain, anxiety, depression, and sleeplessness. As you might imagine, that applies very well to the veteran population, first responders, and healthcare providers, especially under these current crisis conditions. So we're thrilled to be here at the M.A.S.H event tonight, or at least be here virtually, to speak to you, and also to announce tonight the launching of our HOPE initiative. The HOPE initiative is Help Our Protectors Endure. It's a clinical trial-driven initiative designed to treat healthcare workers, first responders, and veterans. And we're going to start with the Indiana and Indianapolis chapter of the HOPE initiative. So tonight, we're very, very pleased to announce the launching of that initiative over the next few weeks. In addition, I would like to also name our new lead clinical director for the HOPE initiative, starting with the Indianapolis chapter, Dr. Brian Barber. Dr. Barber is with you tonight, and Brian, I'd love it if you would say a few words and let people know that they can connect to you with any questions they might have. Guys, again, we would love to be there in person. Sorry we can't be. Have a wonderful event. All the luck and good cheer in the world to the M.A.S.H Ministries and their wonderful team. And we look forward to talking to you all soon. Thank you very much. Look forward to talking to you all.
That's me, I'm Brian Barber. When I met Jim, I was at the, I still work at the VA in emergency medicine. As a matter of fact, that's why I was late. I had a bit of patient with severe COVID. I was at the VA and I was doing a study on chronic pain. Veterans, combat veterans in particularly, they suffer from an invisible enemy, and I see it every day. And I saw it tonight before I came here today. And our, unfortunately, answer in the medical profession has been throw pills at it. That's what we've been doing for 20 years. Just throw more pills at it, and if those pills don't work, throw another pill at it and just see what happens. That's what we were trained to do. In comes this guy and says, hey, I'd like you to test this device for me. What kind of device, Jim? Well, it fits on the ear, it stimulates the vagus nerve, slows the heart rate down, releases endorphins, and makes people feel better without pills. I said, no pills, I'm in. You know? And so we're going through there's 3 phases to be approved by the FDA. And we have done the first 2 phases, really the first 1 phase, which of course is safety. And it's been recognized as a minimally risked device in terms of safety. It fits on the ear. It's no bigger than a hearing aid. And it stimulates the vagus nerve non-invasively, where the old technology called spinal cord stimulators and deep brain stimulators and P-stem, you might have heard of those things. That old technology was invasive. You had to cut things and stick it in the body. This fits on the ear non-invasively. This 21st century technology that's used to send signals through the vagus nerve non-invasively to take combat veterans, first responders, healthcare workers with PTSD, and reduce those symptoms without using drugs. And so we are going to launch the HOPE initiative, which is providing these devices to combat veterans, healthcare workers, and first responders for free. The only problem is to do that, it costs money. And so I appreciate your prayers and your support. If you happen to be the CEO of a major multi-million-dollar business company, please come talk to me, because we're talking to a few of those now. And we hope that you will support us as we also support M.A.S.H, because we're in the same battle together. So thank you for your time, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Anything, sign, thumbs up, I can talk, okay. Thank you again for being here. Thank you, Mom, Amy, thank you. Your incredible story, your testimony. The bidding continues. A couple other housekeeping things. You're ready and willing and able to close out your accounts, pick up your items. And over there on the table, you may have wondered what the brown bags are. Those are actually donuts for you to take home. So please, at least grab one bag. Titus? That's where, I think that's where you and I first met, was Titus. It's funny, every time I call Paul and say, hey, you want to get together? He goes, yeah, I'll meet you at Titus. But again, thank you for your commitment and your concern and your interest. This is a fight that's really just started, and we're all in it together to continue moving forward. This is Sparks. Good luck. All of our elected officials, good luck on November 3rd. Get out and vote. Thank you very much for being here.
Meeting next, I mean, a week from Monday? A week meeting? Is that a few days? A few days. Oh, what is this, Friday? Saturday, Sunday, 8 days, 9 days?
That's not fair.
Well, she might next time. Yeah, she had a closing, she just came back. I couldn't see it because we didn't know. Maybe next time. Appreciate that. Take her home.
Answer your question, I think I'm going to request for start meeting on the every odd Monday. The guys that pursue
Under your nose. These things are nice. One broke, it's only
He won't get your shoes if you don't want him to.
I think it might be nice if you got it. Right now,
Shoes this time. My shoes that are wet.
Oh, really? No, I think he would like to very much.
It doesn't matter what
well, I told him on my first last Monday, I told him, and now I realize I should have. I said, my TV. This is Megan. I've been
Oh, I left my glasses on. Oh, well.
Yeah.
I can see. I got shoes. Yes, you got shoes on, and they match. They're not flippies.